Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Women's Wellness Lounge. I am your host, Delana Watkins, and tonight we have a special guest with us. Tracey ReNay is going to join us in the Women's Wellness Lounge. We're talking about all things during Women's Health Week, what's next, and everything in between. So I hope you guys are ready for a very robust and interactive session because that's exactly what we're bringing you tonight. Tracey, tell them who you are and what you are talking about with us tonight.
Oh, first of all, sis, thank you so much for having me on tonight. I am excited to share with you all who I am and wow, I'm just so excited, period. So my name is Tracey ReNay. I am the CEO of actually a couple of companies, TRH Innovations, where I help to create a harmonious shampoo time experience at home with parent and child. And I'm also the CEO of Tracey ReNay LLC. I'm super excited. And that is where my TV show will be host, Heart Health with Tracey ReNay, with the Promote Her Network. So I am excited to just be here and share with you all this evening and to thank my sister Delana for having me here.
You are so welcome. And I just love that whole Tracey ReNay. And y'all just check her out. She got her little red Heart Health pin already stuck on that bright, beautiful yellow top of hers that y'all know she is here for it, right? She is here for the
I'm here.
So what I like though about your heart health platform is that although the title says heart health, it's not strictly going to be about heart health. So just share a little piece of that with us real quick before I jump into sharing about Women's Health Week.
Okay, absolutely. So heart health was basically just born out of my story. There's been, for the past few years, it started with me losing my only sibling, which was a sister, to a heart-related issue. She passed away from a hypertensive cardiovascular disease. A year and a half later, my father also passed away from heart disease. It was cardiomyopathy. And so that was the start of the heart health. Okay. But then shortly after that, I started going into a season of transition. I went, had a divorce and just completely lost myself and just was not even a shell of a being, basically. Right. And so having gone through that transition where I had to come back and heal myself, that's when heart health really was birthed. And it was not only the organ, because they're passing through me into a high risk category, but then thinking about the relationships that I had. Thinking about how I needed to physically take care of myself again, what I needed to do mentally for myself. And to me, all of those things are indirectly related to our heart. Yes. Whether it's, losing someone that I was married to for 24 years, that's a heart issue.
That's a heart issue.
It's a heart issue. Of course, my physical activity is a heart issue. So that's how heart health came about. It was just simply the journey that I've been on the last few years of actually 5 years of my life, really.
Okay. And I like that. And it's a big distinction when you talk about heart health, the physical organ being, as well as repairing your heart on an emotional level, relational level as well. So that's why I wanted you to share that. I knew that insider tidbit, but I wanted to make sure our viewers knew that as well, that she's not just going to be sharing about the heart health in particular, but just about the whole general aspect of our relational issues and or things that we have that deals with the heart as well.
Absolutely.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that later on, but I wanted to give y'all a little snippet of that. So again, thank you guys for joining us live here in the Women's Wellness Lounge. Please either start a watch party, share, like, comment on today's show. In the Women's Wellness Lounge. As I said, I'm your host, Delana Watkins, and we have with us Miss Tracey ReNay. So we are going to talk about Women's Health Week. Now, this was something that I really didn't know was recognized until I became more of a steward over women's health, or really started to look into and be concerned about women's health and share that as my platform, that there was even a week dedicated to this.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. So what is this? And then I began to look into it, and I really started to do things specific during this week, probably about, I guess, when I started the Wellness Lounge in 2011. So it's been close to a decade now that I started doing that. So what Women's Health Week is, ladies, for you all that may not know, it starts on Mother's Day. So since it's generally a time when women are all together, mothers, daughters, aunts, sisters, are together. That's a time that the Department of Health and then the Office on Women's Health get together, and they kick off for an entire week different things that they recognize, bringing awareness to women's health. So I thought that that was a grand idea, that on Mother's Day, where we're thinking about women, that we also kick off Women's Health Week. So this year it runs from May 10th through May 16th. So that's an opportunity for you, if it's normally during normal time, if we are, weren't dealing with the COVID and everything else that you would normally be going in to see your healthcare practitioner. It's a time for you to make sure you schedule your well woman visits, and any particular things that you have been diagnosed with that you have to follow up with a specialty doctor or any type of practitioner, that you are mindful of those things and do that as well. So let's take this week, ladies, to not only make sure that we're protecting ourselves from COVID, but also that we're doing what we need to do on a personal level to make certain that we are functioning at our optimum capacity as well, and that we're staying healthy and well. Okay, so that is my intro into what we're going to be talking about today. Like, what exactly does that look like? So Tracey, I need you to help me here.
Okay.
Tell me, now that I done laid out all the groundwork and got them all, geared in, and everybody's ears are perked up because they know it's Women's Health Week. Mm-hmm. I need you to help me by identifying what are the top 3 health goals that most women express, or that they talk about, or that you're aware of. And any ladies that's watching, or listening to us, make sure you comment in the comment section, because I'm going to be following the comments as well to find out, what are your top 3 health goals?
Oh, well, for me, my top 3 health goals was just being physically fit, making sure that I was heart healthy, that I am maintaining the things that I need to do in order for my heart to stay healthy, especially since I'm considered high risk for heart health. That's a big concern. And then simply just wanting to be around, have a lot more energy. Absolutely. Those are the 3 things for me. What I do hear a lot of women saying is that, yes, they do want a lot of energy because they're sluggish. It's so much going on, especially now. That's one of the issues that we've noticed. A lot of women have said, and then a lot of them are just wanting to get back to themselves, get back to that, fit like they used to be. Mm-hmm.
Right. And I find that, and it depends on, and here's the other thing too, it depends on where you are, whether you're a seasoned woman or you are so we have different, what I call phases that we go through depending on our age. Mm-hmm. So what's important to a 30-year-old may not be as important to a 50-year-old, or what they may be focusing on.
Exactly.
So there's always going to be general health goals, that the average or the top health goal generally for a woman is that they want to lose weight, right? Mm-hmm. Or that they want to, eat healthier and exercise more. Those are the top 3 hands down when you talk about general goals. But I like to challenge women and say, let's dig a little deeper. Let's, get a little bit more raw with that. Okay, all that's good, but let's get a little more raw with it. What exactly does that mean? Why do you want to eat, better? What does eating better mean, or eating healthy? So it's really trying to get them to dig deeper into what does that mean for them. So you sound like you're a little bit more specific in knowing what you want, for where you are. I can tell you my 30-year-old self wanted something totally different than my 50-year-old, almost 50-year-old self.
Me too. I'm right there with you. So I'm definitely.
Right. I can promise you that what I wanted at 30 is not what I wanted at 50 as far as my health is concerned. Right. I wasn't nearly as concerned about, what I'm eating and how much I'm exercising. If anything, it was like I can eat what I want because I know I'm good. The weight isn't going to stick around and all of that. So I think, let me just look and see. We welcome some folks to the Wellness Lounge. Hey, LaKyla, that's one of our promote her sisters. She said, lose weight and definitely follow a better diet as a lifestyle and not a quick fix or fad. So that's right, LaKyla. And we also have Shannon that joined us. Hey, and my cousin Michi and Alicia. Thank you guys for joining. So again, as I said before, those are the top things. And what I try to challenge women to do is dig deeper and really figure out what that means. Because LaKyla hit it straight on the head. What happens is when we start to do things for sort of that quick fix and not really adopt it as a lifestyle, it doesn't stick around very long. And you don't really reap the benefits of it, right? You don't know whether you changing what you ate helped or not, because you either did or you didn't see some results from it. Because you didn't make it a lifestyle. So I challenge you to do that. Now, you talked about being physical was something that was important to you. Tell us how you went through that transition. So what did that look like for you before and then after?
So prior to all of this happening, I pretty much was always kind of fit. I would work out, here or there, and I'd go through these long stints where I'd be in the gym maybe 6-7 months out of the year, nice little stretch. I'd go 8, I'd have a trainer, I'd work out several times a week. So I was always doing something. And it started in high school. I was a cheerleader in high school for football, basketball, and wrestling, to say the least. And then, when I became a mother, my children were active. So I had a professional basketball player, and my daughter played basketball all through school, from junior high all the way through college, and then even pro. My middle baby started at basketball. So I was always kind of doing something.
Right.
And then I have a mother who is constantly on me, bless her heart. She is in her just turned 70 this year, and she'd always tell me, Tracey, when menopause hits, your body's going to start going through changes. When you start going through, and your grandmother and I went through it early. So having her in my head and constantly saying and being active with my children, it was okay. I know I got to stay on top of being physical and trying to be healthy, because I know once I get to that golden age that I'm starting to go through menopause or perimenopause, then I know things are going to change. So that was a big thing for me, having someone in my corner to constantly say that, and then being so active with my girls. Now it is, I'm seeing what she said about
experiencing what she said, right?
I am starting to experience
you're now seeing it, right?
Exactly. And so now that, coupled with everything else, is like, okay, Tracey, we've got to be serious about this now. It's no more, I'm trying to be summertime fine.
Right.
That's a byproduct of it.
You need to be lifetime fine, right?
I need to be lifetime fine.
I'm not in that category of summertime fine. I need to be lifetime fine. Okay.
Exactly.
Hashtag that if you want. Hashtag lifetime fine. We're not. No.
You are exactly right about that.
So that's good. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Now we're going to flip the script a little bit.
Okay.
So we know what the top 3 goals are. Let's talk about those barriers. What are some of the barriers to women achieving those goals?
Time. Well, let me say excuses, because all of it falls into an excuse. It's the excuse of, I don't have time to work out. The excuse of, like me, I'm a natural girl, so it's my hair. I don't want to mess my hair up. Or it's the, well, I don't know what to do or even where to start. I say that those are cop-outs. I tell anytime I hear that, that's a cop-out. In fact, I started the month and I posted after I got finished riding. I said it took me 45 minutes to ride 5 miles. Of course, I couldn't start 5 miles. It took me a minute to work up to 5 miles.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Get up and do something during the commercial breaks. Those are only 2 minutes.
Listen, they already know. Tell them those physically fit commercial breaks. We do those. And
I'm telling you.
Physically fit commercial breaks. So the time thing is always something, but then when we again go deeper, they understand that it's not about you moving, it's about you having the motivation to move, right? So it's just being able to move and stop having to think that it has to be organized movement. Right? Somebody who was just on here, Sandra Mitchell, she does a good job. Like she'll just get up and dance. Like I see and she's just up dancing, just to raise your heart rate. And she'll put on a song. She's a big Prince fan, so she'll put on a song and just go crazy for the whole song.
Exactly. Something like that we need to start doing to make exercising fun. And then we need to really be thinking about women, especially. We're doing so much for everybody, so much for all of these different other things and people, that we neglect ourselves. And just like with my sister having a heart condition that she didn't even know she had.
Right.
And of course, that being the number one silent killer, especially among African-American women anyway. So we need to carve out 30 minutes a day at least to be able to do something. I don't care what it is, just do something to move. Dancing is great.
Yeah, right. Yep, exactly. So Sandra said, just throw on those tunes, LOL, dance like nobody is watching. And she
exactly,
I'm telling you, she is one that does that on a regular. Like me and my daughter, we used to do that a lot. And so since we've been kind of quarantined, it's one of those things that's like, okay, get back to it. Just move. You'll find that it does raise your heart rate, and that's the goal, is to raise your resting heart rate, right? You want that heart rate to move, and it does not, again, have to be organized movement. It does not have to be, Bada, a hit workout, Zumba, anything, whatever brings you joy or makes you laugh in the process. That's what you want to do.
Girl, look, I still have two young ones in the house. Well, my 18-year-old and my 14-year-old. And honey, they had these TikTok videos. Hey, mama, come on, let's dance.
And before you know it, you're dancing and you're having fun and laughing, but you're raising your heart rate at both at the same time.
Exactly.
So honestly, it's just a matter of moving. So that's the movement part, the time, and then the just not knowing. Again, it's one of those things where, again, it doesn't have to be organized. It can be whatever you want it to be to help raise the heart rate. The hair thing, don't even get me started on that. Like I tell women that we cannot be so shallow that we're worried about what our hair looks like. Yes, I get it. I understand. But the same way we make concessions and can do certain things or whatever it takes to do a protective hairstyle or do whatever we need to do, at the end, you either want to be looking pretty or you want to be casket sharp. You decide, right? Because if we don't do the things necessary, that's exactly what's going to happen. So sometimes you got to speak like that. It may sound very harsh that I'm saying, oh, you want to be casket sharp or you want to be cute, walking these streets. But no, it absolutely does trickle down to that. And we're going to get into this a little bit later after the commercial break, but about heart health being a silent killer. It's one of those things where if you have a heart, you're at risk for heart disease. The only difference is each of us have a different risk level of heart disease. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit before we close out of the show. But I want to, Tracey, go into commercial break. And then when we come back, again, switching gears a little more, because I said we were going to talk about what's next and then everything in between. So we're still shifting gears. And when we come back from this commercial break, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Okay.
Do you have a brand, product, program, or service that you needs to get in front of your customer? Well, what's stopping you? Is it not having a commercial? You lack social media graphics? Or just don't have the opportunity? Well, problem solved. I'm Delana Watkins, host of the television show, The Women's Wellness Lounge, and I have an opportunity to partner with you to get your brand in front of over 100 million viewers. We can help you with social media graphics as well as a commercial. If you're interested and this sounds like an opportunity for you, your brand, product, program, or service, I want you to send an email to info@DelanaWatkins.com or comment under this video or simply visit my website at DelanaWatkins.com. Thank you, and I look forward to partnering with you and helping your brand be exposed to over 100 million viewers. Move us into talking a little bit more about heart health. So as we said prior to the break, that heart disease is a silent killer. So with Tracey, can you share with us some statistics of heart disease? And then if you know them, I know it used to be 1 in 5, then it went to 1 in 4. Now we're actually 1 in 3. Women.
Yes. When my sister passed, I think it was 1 in 5. And to hear now that it's 1 in 3,
yeah,
it's very It's very alarming, you
Yeah.
know, and sadly, as I mentioned, we're so busy focusing on everything and everybody else that we forget ourselves. And so I have to encourage people, you got to check your numbers. You got to know your numbers. One of the things that I went out and did is, I think we have a delay. One of the things that I went out and did was bought a blood pressure cuff so that I could begin to monitor myself at home. I think we have a delay going.
We do. I think it had to reboot itself.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. Okay. We'll just keep talking through. Hopefully it'll catch up with us.
Okay.
So you went out and bought a blood pressure cuff?
Yeah, I went to go get a blood pressure cuff because I was not monitoring my blood pressure. The only time I was doing it was when I went to the doctor's office, which was once a year. And so after having gone through that experience, I said, okay, Tracey, I need to stop. And so every now and then I kind of monitor it to kind of see where I am. Thankfully, I'm very good. I have no issues with high blood pressure. If anything, mine is, you know, fairly low most of the time. And then another thing that I also opted to do too was to get an Apple Watch that monitors my heart rate. So I definitely keep up with that too. And I push the button and track it all the time. Now, I am not a health nurse. You know, I'm not a nursing field at all.
All the things necessary to know your numbers. So that's part of, you know, educating for heart health is knowing your numbers.
Absolutely.
So you're doing the right thing by knowing where you are.
Right. And then actually going into the doctor's office too to get blood work done. I needed to be able to have a baseline established for me at that point. So I went and had a ton of blood work done. I've had stress tests done before. I've been attached to oh Lord, I forget the name of it, a heart monitor. And I went from 30 days to 45 days because they did see a couple of different things, but it was mainly working out, different workout times that they would really see a difference in that. Yeah. But other than that, that's something that we really need to be mindful of. And I think oftentimes when we go to the doctor, we're afraid to ask questions or ask the doctors things or tell them about any issues that we've noticed within ourselves, any challenges or differences that we've seen or concerns. And for whatever reason, we should not be afraid to ask those questions at all of the health providers that we're dealing with, because after all, you're going to see them anyway. Why are you afraid to open your mouth and talk to them about what's going on?
You have to go, and nothing that you either experience or that you are unaware of or unsure of is worth talking about. So when you go in, even if it's something small, because what I try to share with women and with my clients is this: something that may seem small to you, but if you put it together with a couple of other things that you may be experiencing, could be a diagnosis for something. So if it's something that's small to you, if you think that, oh, you know, I'm noticing that my hair is thinning, but at the same time, I'm getting dizzy often, or I'm bruising, you know, more easily. When you look at those things individually, they may seem small, but when you put them together, your healthcare practitioner may be able to identify that you have something more deeper, something more specific going on. So don't be afraid to share with them the different things that you're noticing that you're you know, have going on. You yourself should be able to write those things down as well. Put them in your phone. You know, they have different apps where you can put stuff in your phone, and so that when you go in for that appointment, oftentimes we're having a dialogue back and forth, like you and I are talking, and I might say something because I'm having a conversation with you. So when you're in there with your physician or your healthcare practitioner, the same thing occurs. They're likely asking you questions, and you may forget. So if you have that information already in your phone, you can then share with them, oh, I forgot to tell you, or, oh, I wanted to talk with you about this.
That's right.
Yeah, be very mindful about that. So, you know, Tracey, you're definitely, I feel, of course, being the heart health with Tracey ReNay, you're on the right path for doing what's necessary to make sure, you know, that we are proactive, you know.
Absolutely. I don't, you know, I told someone a couple of weeks ago, I don't want anyone to have to go through what I went through. Losing a sister, and she was found after being deceased 3 days.
Wow.
Then having to deal with that with my father.
Yeah.
Now imagine me having to deal with my mother after losing her child, losing a spouse of 49 years. I'm having to help her navigate all of that. And then after that, then I'm going through a divorce.
Right.
So all of that, like I said initially, is what fueled me being so passionate about heart health. And so if I can shout it to the rooftop to tell anybody, make sure you do these necessary things to take care of yourself so that you don't have these issues unexpectedly. And one thing you touched on triggered a memory of my sister. The time before the last I saw her, we were at my grandmother's funeral. And we were dancing on the dance floor, as we always do as a family. And I noticed she sat down and she kind of grabbed her chest. And she was sitting there for a minute. And I asked her if she was okay. And she said, "Oh, girl, I'm just out of breath. We've been dancing." I said, "Okay." But she had done it again. And I didn't think about it until after the fact. And it was like, okay, she was experiencing some challenges and didn't say anything to anyone. And we didn't even know this until after the fact.
Right. And again, I will tell you that the signs and symptoms can be very subtle, especially if you don't have a diagnosis, right? Like with cardiomyopathy or any other cardiovascular disease, that you're aware that you have, a cardiac or heart issue. So shortness of breath, again, she said, "Oh, I just, got finished dancing." So that's something that you can easily say, right? It makes sense.
It makes sense.
So, hey, having a headache, blurred vision,
that's me.
Those type of things. "Oh, I work too hard. I'm stressed out. I'm working on a project. I'm working long hours."
Explaining it away.
Yeah, we can explain it away. It's a whole litany of lists of things. So when you think about it, you could, again, like with a lot of the viewers out there, again, that's why I say, know your numbers, know your risk factors as far as your family health tree. And again, this is Women's Health Week. So being aware, knowing and acting and being proactive are the best things that we can do to prevent us from experiencing any heart incidences, any heart attack, heart disease, and those type of things outside of the usuals of moving, eating right, and all of those things, right? So we know all of that, but it's the things that we do have control over or that we can impact and or change where we tend to fall short. So that's going to lead me to the last thing that I want to talk about, and that is, where do we get stuck? So this is, again, us talking about, the whole Women's Health Week. You guys have heard what we said. We haven't said anything that's really earth shattering, something that you've probably either seen, read about, heard, or, experienced in some other form or fashion, right? So nothing that myself or that Tracey has shared has been anything that's not, it's earth shattering. So you've heard it all before in some other facet, probably right here in the Women's Wellness Lounge. But where do we get stuck? So ladies, whoever's watching us, we've got Angela, Day, Queen Candace. Thank you guys for joining us. Where do we get stuck? Where do you think we get stuck from the knowing, the planning, and then taking action? Somewhere in there we get stuck.
Yes.
Not following through.
I think I would probably say the planning would be, I think, the biggest, because we plan out everything else and we forget to plan that. Now, something that I just noticed that I stopped doing was pulling my workout clothes out at the beginning of the day. So when I typically get up, I shower and I just put on workout clothes, especially since we're home during COVID. I put my workout clothes on. That says, okay, Tracey, you're getting a workout in today. I don't know what time of day, but you're getting a workout in.
It's right there. I'm prepared for it, right? I'm ready.
Exactly. And so I think that's probably the number one of that is the planning, maybe.
Yeah. I think you're right. There's 5 stages of readiness before we act. And so I went deeper into this in March when we did the Heal Her workshop. And I talked about this, and I spent a lot of time talking about the stages of readiness or the stages of change. And so you can know something and you can plan it and you can have the best laid plans, and it will take the average woman anywhere from 3 to 6 months before she actually will act on that well thought out plan, before there's any execution that takes place. That's a very long time. We stay in the stages of pre-contemplation and then contemplation and then acting. So I'm going to play through it, and I'm going to use your example because I use this when I talk about it. So we know that we need to work out. We know we want to work out for 30 minutes a day, right? A minimum. So we we know all this and we plan it out. We might even go join a gym, or we might get a walking partner or whatever. So we do all of these things where we go through the whole step of convincing ourselves that we are ready to execute this thing. Then we go buy the workout clothes, we get the sneakers, we get the gym bag. Okay, we're doing all this stuff, right? So these things in our mind translate into I'm taking action. We still haven't worked out now, right? We've just
that's right.
We got the clothes and we laid them out. Okay. So the clothes then go from being bought, we take the tags off, and then they go into the gym bag. Okay. So then from that stage, it goes from the gym bag to the gym bag being placed by the front door.
That's right.
Girl, we're getting closer. Okay. We're getting closer. And so the bag then goes from the front door into the vehicle or into wherever, because you're going to go to work, and then after work, you're going to work out. Like you've worked this whole thing out in your head. Pumped yourself up now, but we're now into month 3. You actually do it. So, but you still not gotten to the place where you've actually taken the gym bag, put it in the vehicle, taken the vehicle, driven it to the gym, from the gym, from the car, taking the gym bag out into the gym, got dressed in the clothes, and then we still haven't gotten there yet, and we're somewhere into but I'm exaggerating that out for demonstration purposes. But it really does.
It does take a while.
Yeah, and I'm sure some of you that are listening, watching, and tuning in is probably shaking your head like, that's probably what I'm doing right now. Like, you're guilty. Go ahead and raise your hand, because you know that you are guilty of that. And I will promise you that if you go from knowing to planning to execution in an orderly fashion, and even if you just do it, even if in your head it doesn't quite come out the way you envision, you will have done that thing, whatever it is. When you get to the execution point, that's when you can check the box and say, I'm on my way. I've done whatever that changes, and then you're no longer stuck. That's the hashtag what's next, or what comes next from the knowing.
Can you say that time span again, that it's from 3 to how many months did you say?
Usually it's 3 to 6 months, and it's going to depend on what the goal is. What is that particular thing? Like how much planning goes into it. There's 5 stages of change, and then most people get stuck somewhere between pre-contemplation and contemplation before they actually do the whole action, and then evaluate whether they like it. Was this the right thing for me? Should I have gone worked out at home first to determine if I can tolerate it before I actually went to, again, that organized workout. So somewhere between the 3 and 6 months. Now, the other interesting comparison is that it takes 90 days before you develop a lifestyle. So within that time frame, while you're contemplating all of this, you could have already started and executed, and then it would have become your lifestyle, and you no longer think about it.
Absolutely. I asked that because I sat here and I calculated from the time that I saw my sister to the time that she passed was 4 months.
Okay.
Now, the last time I saw her was late June of that year, and it was, sister, I'm getting ready to start working out. I already got it together and get my things, doing what I'm going to do. 4 months later, she had passed away.
Wow.
Now, had she started working out prior to then, had she started eating right prior to then, who knows what would have happened within the 4 months? And you just said, I mean, I don't want to say that to scare anybody.
Oh, absolutely no. Really, it's very informative. But when you look back at it, if even if she had begun to work out, she may have realized at that point that it wasn't just about her dancing and being short of breath.
Exactly.
Because likely if she had pushed herself, if she had raised her heart rate, if she had begun some form of exercise, it may well be that at that time she may have experienced, something slight, and then gone to a healthcare practitioner. And then that's when it discovered that there was a heart condition that she was experiencing or dealing with, right?
Exactly.
But unfortunately, like you said, she was never in her mind. She was still in that pre-contemplation phase of knowing that she wanted.
I'm gonna.
Yep. Change some of her habits. It was the whole I'm gonna, right? I'm going to, and then I'm going to, and then I did. but I
Right.
still have it, right?
That's right. Yeah, that is so true. You know, I posted today a picture of myself from February when I first started really getting serious again this year, and then today. And I had several people in my inbox, oh my God, I want to do this. Oh my God, I'm like, you guys have to realize this was a few months time span. This was not overnight something that happened with me.
Yeah, this isn't instant results, right?
No.
We always we become sort of this Insta society, right? We instantly want things to happen. There is work to be done, but a lot of the work really happens when you do a neck up checkup, right?
Absolutely.
The neck up checkup. For me, it's where are you here? What do you, where's your motivation?
Absolutely.
Do you know what your goals are and how much work will go into them.
That's
So
right.
a lot of things happen before you actually move, right?
Well, that's right. That's right.
Do. So it's really spending time to do the neck up checkup before we actually physically begin to make change. So that's where a lot of the magic happens, is when we sit and do the work there.
That's
and
right.
some people don't want to do the work there. We really don't. I mean,
no, who does? We don't want to deal with what's going on in
yeah, it's a lot, a lot resides in there. And you really just got to know that is where a lot of the work happens. A lot of times when I get clients, they'll say, thinking that in the beginning it's me giving them an exercise program, or we're doing this, this, and this. And I'm like, oh no. I got to figure out what you got going on first. No.
That's right. That's right.
We don't jump right into that.
You got to do that hard work first. That's the hard part of it.
Right.
By the time you get to the working out part, that's the easy part.
That's the easy part right there. So, Tracey, it has been a pleasure talking to you. Let me see if we had anybody else that was. So we had Day on here. She was saying, giving us amen about what we were saying. She was you were so right. It's execution. Absolutely. Hey, Anita Mims, want to promote her sisters.
Hello.
Came on. How you guys doing,
hey,
everybody? So let you guys know if you have any questions. Again, this is Women's Health Week. Tracey ReNay and I are basically encouraging you all to make certain that you have scheduled your well woman visits, that if you have any particular conditions that you're concerned about, if you're experiencing anything that you're concerned about, that you make sure that you go and visit your healthcare practitioner. Do not allow anything, whether it's small or big, if it concerns you, it is worth finding out. It is worth going to your healthcare practitioner to have a discussion. Right now, because of the COVID situation, a lot of healthcare practitioners are offering medicine visits or telehealth visits. So even if you aren't, you're trying to stay away because you don't want to be in that environment, there are other ways in which you can, see your healthcare provider. So I would urge you to definitely do that for sure. Yes. All right, Tracey, did you have any last things? Because I want to, and then I want you to share with all of our viewers. Again, everyone, thank you for tuning in to the Women's Wellness Lounge. I want you to give them your contact information and then tell us about your TV show that you got coming up.
Oh, I'm excited about the show. Okay. So yes, I am excited. You all can go to theshampoo-mate.com to learn about my shampoo mate. I'm just so super excited about that. I now have a hair care line that also goes along with that. So we're taking away the shampoo day blues at home with mom and child. No more shampoo day blues. I am excited about Heart Health with Tracey ReNay. That is my baby, my newest baby, I'll say. I just can't wait. I've got a lot planned for the show this season. It's The Shampoo Mate.
Oh,
yes, ma'am. The Shampoo Mate.
Let me fix that.
It's The Shampoo Mate. But Heart Health with Tracey ReNay. My first episode really is just going to give you all an idea of who I am. It's just simply going to give you all my story and how I got to where I am and why I felt the need to have this show, Heart Health with Tracey ReNay. We've got some exciting stuff coming along. I have my mother and her girlfriends that are going to be on the show to tell us how to keep. Oh,
that's going to be exciting. That's going to be a wisdom show.
Yeah, that's going to be a wisdom show there. We're going to be talking all things, like she said, I can tell you how to keep a man, honey. I've had one for 49 years. He died. I'm like, okay, Mom. We have, I'm working with another guest because, of course, we want those men in our lives to be around. So I'm working with someone to come onto the show to kind of give us that perspective on our men,
Right.
what we need to do in order to make sure that our men are taken care of. Of course, my daughter, my oldest daughter, is going to be on the show. She's going to talk to us about our physical activity. She is now a trainer. You know, she's got her own thing. Yeah, so I'm looking. Yeah, so I got a lot going on, and I'm so super excited. The Promote Her network, the Promote Her sisterhood, I would definitely encourage you all to become a part of it. It has really changed my life in the last few months that I've been associated with the organization. The relationships are so genuine, guys. I've had several wins already just from the connection.
Connecting, you know, and putting in the work and speaking up, connecting with your sisters in the Promote Her group. It really is a true sisterhood. I mean, that's how you and I met, obviously through Promote Her. So yeah. So promote-her.com, you guys, make sure you go there, look it over. You can join virtually. And there are several benefits that you can take advantage of just on the virtual membership side.
Yes. I'm excited. So the Tracey ReNay website will be launching soon. Yes. I'm excited about that. So we'll have that.
You're all overly excited, okay?
I am.
Speaking of heart health, your heart is like this.
I am. But we're working on that. So by the time my show actually airs, the website will be up and running, and you can gain a whole lot more information on me. There'll be coaching and stuff on there for those of you who are interested in creating a product and taking it from idea to inception. We're going to be talking about that. And then, of course, some other fun stuff that you need to stay tuned to find out about.
Yep. So I'm going to put your website back up again, The Shampoo Mate. And of course, Tracey ReNay is her name on social media. She also has a group called Heart Health with Tracey ReNay that you can join and follow her there as well. Thank you so much. This has been so fun as usual. Thank you guys for joining me in the Women's Wellness Lounge. I am your host, Delana Watkins. You know, you'll catch me back here on Wednesday where I bring you another special guest in the Wellness Lounge. Make sure you share my video. I love you guys. I appreciate all that you do, and sharing helps me and hopefully will impact another woman's life as we share about National Women's Health Week. All right. See you guys next Wednesday.
Bye.